Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse. Hey there, lunatics. Today we are building a Chrysalis mob farm. So let's go ahead and get started here. Now, this mob farm is being made right at the border in between two sets of spawn cells. So we're using up 8 spawn cells total, but we're only going up 4 spawn cells on each side. If you're not familiar with how to determine spawn cells, check out my video on mob farming and determining your spawn cell, link in the description. In order to set your area up, mark out the borders of both spawn cells. Again, these are 16 by 16 tiles, and clear everything out. I like to fill it with shimmering water. You do not want to fill it with ocean water, because ocean water can spawn enemies if you're in the wrong biome. Then in the very center of it here, specifically right where the 2 spawn cells are meeting, I have 2 sets of ground tiles on one side and 2 sets of ground tiles on the other. So we're going 4 wide, and then I'm just going all the way down the entire length of all 4 of these spawn cells until I reach the very end. This area here in the middle, this is where we're going to be putting all of our Chrysalis. Now let's take a look at the mob spawn chart real quick. You can see that I need 13 tiles for a max chance of spawning the small larva, but I need to fill up all 256 tiles if I want high chances for my giant larva and high chances for my cocoons. Now in this case, I've chosen not to do that. I'm going above what I need for the larva. Essentially what I'm doing is I'm having 32 tiles per spawn cell because I've filled up 2 of them, and 2 on each side is 16. So of course 16 plus 16 is 32. And so that's giving me not a great chance for either one of the giant larvae or the cocoons, but it still improves my chances of getting them. And it pretty much guarantees that I'm going to be getting small larvae a lot. And that is perfectly fine with me because I really don't want the cocoons to overwhelm my mob farm. So for this build, you're going to need about 256 conveyor belts, 256 chrysalis, around 128 turrets. I like to use galaxite turrets, but if you've got enough stone turrets, you can use that too. About 7 generators. If you're using stone turrets that don't require power, then you don't need the generators. A robot arm, and a chest of your choice. You're also going to need walls to surround this entire thing with. I'm using the desert temple walls, but really you can use any wall you want. You're not going to need as many as I have here, but just make sure you bring enough to surround your entire farm. I'm going to start by placing down the chrysalis along all of the ground tiles that we have here in the middle. Now, I have layer ground, like the hive ground that I've placed here. You don't have to do that yourself. You could use any ground tile you want. I just used the hive ground because I thought it was atmospheric and scenic. Now, once you place down all your chrysalis, you're going to want to place down all of your conveyor belts. Now, you want them all, at least on my farm, I'm having all of mine face down. Now, if you're having yours in a slightly different shape or you want it to be going up, it's going to depend on your farm. But for me, I'm having all of them facing straight down so that everything moves toward the bottom. Now, at the very bottom, you're going to want to designate one spot to be your outward going loot area. In this case, I'm just going to pick this one right here. And the rest of your conveyor belts on the bottom layer should be pointing toward this one heading down, because this is going to go and drop all of your loot into the wall that's going to be right here. In fact, we can go ahead and just place down walls right there because we know we're going to. And then next, you're going to take your robot arm, face it up toward the wall so that any of the items that get pushed into the wall will be grabbed by the robot arm. You have your chest down below, and then put down your generator next to it. Now the farm is essentially functional. We just need the kill zone, quote unquote. Now in this case, what I'm going to do for the kill zone is I am just going to be using galaxite turrets going down the entire length on both sides. So I point the Galaxite turrets heading in. Now, Galaxite turrets have a maximum range of 10 tiles. So what I've done is I've actually put them 7 tiles out so that they're a decent distance. And what this does is this actually delays their shot just a little bit so that whenever something bursts out of a cocoon, or whenever there's a larva roaming near a cocoon, because a lot of these cocoons won't break open. There's nothing aggroing them. There's no reason for them to break open. But if another larva or a bigger larva walks by, then that gives these turrets a chance to shoot those cocoons so that they will end up getting broken and not taking up valuable spawning tiles. Because if those cocoons don't break, then they're eventually going to slowly but surely decrease the amount of spawnable tiles that you have available. So you do want those cocoons to get destroyed. And by giving them this gap, we're giving that delay enough time that we'll be able to keep those cocoons under control. Once you have them down, we need to power them. So first we put power on one end. Then I'm going to put my generator on the other end as well. And then I'm going to go into the middle and find where they're no longer powered. You can see it's pretty much in this area here. And I'm going to place one more generator. Now I know that every single one of my turrets here has power getting to it. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now that all of our turrets are powered, we can go ahead and place down all of our wall tiles. I like to go ahead and place this around the generator. And this seals it in, protecting our farm and preventing anything that we don't want in the farm from getting in. Because we don't want these things to aggro and to cause us problems. Ultimately, with this farm, whether you have the water in there, or you put some lava in, or you just leave it as a gap, this will allow you to get a decent amount of the small larva, the giant larva, and enough cocoons that you're not getting overwhelmed, but you can at least deal with whatever you need to deal with. So what can you get from this farm? Well, the larva will drop slime and larva meat. They'll drop grub capox seeds, heartberry seeds, and bomb pepper seeds. They'll also drop fiber, a larva ring, the larva figurine, and the hive larva figurine. The giant larva can also drop larva meat. They also drop some clay moss, grub capox seeds, shiny larva meat, bomb pepper seeds, slimes, peasant hat and chest, the caveling skull, a tin axe, the grub egg necklace, the big larva figurine, the big hive larva figurine, the fang necklace, the chieftain headdress, the chieftain tunics, and the chieftain shorts. And finally, the cocoon themselves, well, they drop fiber, grub capox seeds, and cocoon figurines. And that's pretty much it for this farm. It's actually pretty straightforward, pretty simple, albeit, you know, the Galaxite turrets might make it feel a little expensive. If you don't want to use Galaxite turrets, you could use something else like radioactive crystals. Or you could use stone turrets or poison turrets, whatever you happen to have. This should produce you at least 2 or 3 spawned creatures every 5 to 10 minutes, as this would be a pretty fast acting spawn. But if you want to make it even bigger, just expand it more to the north, as it's designed to be able to go up to upwards of, I want to say, like 32, 34 spawn cells big. You can make this really, really big if you want and keep it going. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found it informative. Everyone, stay happy, stay healthy. Above all, stay crazy, my friends.